Oh, your husband didn't divorce you, he died. Same thing. That's about the level of comedy you're going to get in 80 for Brady, directed by Kyle Marvin, who's done television and a few other things. Check out his IMDb page for the full listing. And was written by two different people. It took two people to write a movie about a bunch of elderly women rooting for Tom Brady and wanting to go to the Super Bowl, where the Falcons, the Atlanta Falcons, blew a 28-3 lead. It took two people to write a movie about that. Hollywood has issues. That being said, at least they got work. So yeah, the people that wrote Booksmart, back when we thought Olivia Wilde might actually be somebody good for Hollywood as a director, until Don't Worry Darling came along. So yeah, the elderly women involved, well, there's Lily Tomlin, Jane Fonda. Wait a second, is this moving on? No, Malcolm McDowell and Richard Roundtree are nowhere near this. Sally Field and Rita Moreno are in this. I'm going to tell you their ages. And I don't mean to be ageist, but I just have to point this out because it's kind of a running gag. Lily is 83 years old. Jane is 85. Rita Moreno, who I thought passed away a number of years ago, sorry, I don't know why, is 91. And Sally Field is a bright and spry 76. That's a combined age of 335 years old, or half the age that Zoe Stark is. If you don't know who Zoe Stark is and you're not a wrestling fan, you have no goddamn idea what I'm talking about. This is also a bigger combined age than the 4 stars in Moving On. And unlike Moving On, 80 for Brady is painfully generic and not very funny and doesn't really allow any of the stars to be anything more than caricatures. And while I appreciate what they were trying to do, and apparently is inspired by a true story about a bunch of elderly women that loved Tom Brady, were inspired by him, and kept just, going on with life and would look forward to seeing him play for the New England Patriots every Sunday, and then followed him to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, let's be perfectly honest. We all have things that we enjoy. I enjoy wrestling, horror movies, movies in general. Generally, that is, as you can fucking tell from the fact that I'm reviewing a movie called 80 for Brady, where I'm totally out of not only the demographic, but, well, I think a lot more women probably would have watched this, and the women would have dragged their husbands to it. And I go, imagine, no, it's like, it's like the horror movies, like the end of quarantine. No! Actually, that's unfair, because 80 for Brady isn't that kind of movie. It's not necessarily a romance movie. There's a little bit of implied romance with Harry Hamlin. And also, Billy Porter is in this. At his most Billy Porter that he's allowed to be. Billy actually is quite interesting because you put them in any movie and they're just going to do the most with it. I mean, that Cinderella Amazon movie that was absolute ass. At least Billy was entertaining for the one goddamn scene they gave him. Also, Tom Brady's in this. In a movie called 80 for Brady, it's just weird. Look, there isn't a lot to spoil in this, and missing out on 80 for Brady will not haunt you even a bit. But if you have a choice between which Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin starring vehicle to see, Moving On is better. I laughed at Moving On. Lily Tomlin was basically just a drunk wandering in, and her and Jane Fonda had better chemistry. While none of the stars are particularly bad in this, everything's just generic and painfully sanded down to, avoid any goddamn, edges, like in anything, oh, we could, root for these people because of this, or we could do this, or, oh, this is the way I didn't expect the story to go. I mean, yeah, sure, it's basically like a comforting meal, but the comforting meal has no spice and nothing to it. This feels like a relic, ironic, given the age of every single cast member, at least the main cast members, and it just doesn't, it's lacking in anything that really makes you want to watch it. Are there okay parts? Sure. Is it horrible, really on the surface of it? No, but it's boring, it's generic, and I didn't laugh. And I laughed at Moving On not expecting to. I have given some shockingly decent grades to movies I did not expect to really like, and 80 for Brady might end up being one of the blandest and one of the worst movies of the year. It cost $28 million to make and grossed just about under $40 million worldwide. Now, while it didn't have a heavy marketing campaign, it had enough of one, and Tom Brady helped produce this thing, which kind of makes sense. So that's about it. So the plot, such as it is, basically Lily Tomlin's character, has overcome cancer, and seeing Tom Brady really, really inspired her. This is explained a little bit later on. And her friends, the aforementioned elderly women, are all into the Patriots games, and then they get a chance to go on to cheer for him at the Super Bowl, where the Atlanta Falcons blew a 28-3 lead. Ha 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 ha. Honestly, that was one of the funniest goddamn Super Bowl games I've ever seen. One of the funniest sports games in general that I've ever fucking seen. This is back when I actually somewhat paid attention to football. None of it really clicks. None of the comedy clicks. There's a pseudo-endearing quality where you can tell that they wanted to use the idea of, finding a figure, finding somebody to inspire you to fight on, because cancer's a real bitch. Fuck cancer. That's all I really got to say there. And there are certain celebrities. Guy Fieri shows up, and various others do as well. But none of it feels... It's not even organic. It just feels like a series of really, really badly paced comedy skits. Straight out of later seasons of SNL, but at least SNL can occasionally do something funny. This was overly long also. This was 98 minutes. Moving On, I think, was, 85? This could have stood another edit or 5 and maybe been cut all the way down to, I don't know, at least 85 minutes, if not 80 minutes. I mean, then again, they probably had to put over a certain hump to get into the goddamn theaters, because they think you need to have an 80-minute runtime minimum to get into theaters. It's just bland. It's just really bland, and it doesn't utilize any of the main actresses who have been in better stuff even recently. Sally Field, we like her, we really like her, but overall wasn't all that good. I am going to get into spoilers now. Spoiling this will not really haunt you at all. Let's just get to it. It's on Paramount Plus, by the way. I probably should have said that. And MGM Plus for the 5 people that are subscribed to MGM Plus. I always forget about it. 3, 2, 1, spoilers. So yeah, they eventually get to the NFL experience. At one point, Rita Moreno's character passes out due to sleeping pills or blood pressure pills, or likely because of the fact she's 91 fucking years old and things happen. And then there's some comedy where her friends have to sneak her out, and then they travel. Jane Fonda, her character, Trish, is an author who has written a lot of Gronk romance fanfic. She eventually meets Gronk. Lou and co get into the game after finding out they had fake tickets. I mean, I'm going to be perfectly fucking honest here. The comedy leading up to that, where they met Harry Hamlin's character, Dan, who played, 1-2 Super Bowl rings. He holds them up like this and everything, and they're fisting all like this. Ow. Jane Fonda kind of falls for him. He falls for her, but she's worried about falling in love again, because love always kind of eludes her, because she jumps into shit fast. Sally Field's communicating with her husband at home about thesis papers, and she always feels kind of suffocated. She wants to go out and do something big. And Lou, basically, after beating cancer, got papers. Not sure if these test results or anything she had done, the cancer might have come back, it might have not. She's not exactly sure. And then, Rita Moreno just ends up being basically Rita Moreno, just older and slower, because everybody slows down in ages. At one point, they're at a party where they take edibles. There is one particular actor, I'll just say, Charlie Morgan Patton, who has a good look. Put them in more stuff. And from there, and only had one scene, Guy Fieri helped Sally Field, inspire Sally Field to win a wing eating contest, because it's getting taken to Flavor Town. All the jokes just feel manufactured, not organic at all. None of these situations feel like they had any kind of life to them. It was just put these people, place them like pieces on a game board, and then move them around like you want. And what ends up eventually happening is they find out the tickets were fake. They end up talking to Billy Porter's character because there was a charity poker game where, well, one of them won a whole bunch of money and donated it to a particular thing. And the donation was so great that Billy Porter says, yeah, come on in and be part of this. After this guard had basically kicked them out. And then they pretend to be dancers, which was kind of funny. I mean, it was kind of funny to see old people dance around. And then they get into the game. The guard's going to kick them out, but then Harry Hamlin says, no, wait, they're with me. They come up to the skybox. They see the next skybox across from them, directly across from them. That's the coordinators calling for the Patriots. And then, well, the 28-3 lead. They break into the coordinators' room and basically make one defensive change on the play, or on one play. And that leads to Tom Brady basically winning the goddamn Super Bowl. After Lou says, speaks to Tom and speaks to him in his helmet and says, you inspired me to keep fighting through cancer, and I know you're going to win this game. And so it would have been kind of moving if the rest of the movie wasn't so manufactured up to that point. And then he's like, let's fucking go. They win the game, and then everybody meets the players that they like. Lou and Tom talk. And then a number of years later, well, 3 exactly, Tom's gone to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're still cheering Tom Brady, even though they like the Patriots. And then they meet Tom Brady for a closing credit sequence. That's it. F, I'm sorry. F, not funny, generic, not good at all. I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it. I was bored. I was groaning at a lot of the comedy. And while it certainly could be endearing to some people, it just wasn't very good. So F, agree, disagree with what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Recklin. I'll see you soon.